This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Hello there. Recent developments have seen the jazz world split in two by a new wave of musicians calling themselves disc jockeys. Those in favor describe the phenomena as a fresh rush of blood in the aging corpse of music. Those against prefer the term emperor's new clothes. Tonight you may judge for yourselves as we bring you the Propeller Heads, who together with the legendary Shirley Bassey play their arrangement, History Repeating.
But there's something evolving. Whatever may come, the world keeps revolving. They say the next big thing is here, that the revolution's near. But to me it seems quite clear that it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Good morning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene. And I think it may be a case of just history repeating itself. Today we are going to take a look at the Global School Health Report. And I have some questions for you, the audience. I want you to join the conversation as well. I want to start off the show, first of all, by letting my co-host today introduce herself. Good morning, madam.
Hello, good morning. My name is Rodrika Cawley. Some also called me Rodrika Ajwa in creative spaces. And I'm excited to talk about all of the things that we have to talk about today because it's very important.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to have you in studio today because you are also a working member of BASHRA.
Yes.
Tell us what BASHRA is.
Bahamas Sexual Health and Rights Association. We are a nonprofit organization. Right now, we focus heavily on advocacy work around all things reproductive and sexual rights for persons within the Bahamas. That can range from STDs, STIs, birth control, raising children, the needs of children in the family, trauma, people that have experienced sexual sort of trauma and assault. And so we do the full range of everything included in sexual and reproductive health.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here as a part of the conversation because I'd love for us to take a look at one of the focus areas in the Global School Health Report called sexual behaviors. I think it's one of the most important sections in the entire report. But I want to start off by, I'm going to take a moment to say the Minister of National Security got it right. I give that gentleman a lot of, some people call it chafing, I call it heavy critique. Because with great power comes great responsibility.
That's for sure.
Right? But the Minister of National Security got it right. And I want to start off this conversation about the Global School Health Report by highlighting, I think, two key statements that Mr. Monroe made that may actually be at the root of this evolving crisis, right? In the Evolved, Monroe says, that was Nassau Guardian, 11th of July, 2025, Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe called on adults to be more present in children's lives to counteract negative influences. Monroe also dismissed suggestions that the data meant today's youth is lost, adding that, this is one of those key statements, his generation battled similar challenges when they were young. That's part one. Part two, had more support from parents, other relatives, and the wider community. Monroe said today's youth don't have the same level of support systems compared to older generations. Now here we go into the next profound statement by Monroe. While social media is usually blamed for increasing pressures on young people, Monroe said adults also need to spend less time online and help guide and mentor youth. He added that officials are also considering creating a, quote, therapeutic boarding school, close quotes, for troubled youth, right? And so I want to highlight those statements by Mr. Monroe, and I want that to sort of lead our discussion today. And I would like the audience, if you're all so inclined, to call in, because I will join Mr. Monroe. I will raise my glass and I will say, my generation battled similar challenges when I was young, when we were young and foolish, right? And so the question is, how did we survive? Did we survive? Can we say we are okay if the kids are not okay? Because the fruit is a sign of the health of the tree. Right? So I'm asking the audience to share. Let's open up a little bit. See, because the only difference between this generation and our generation is a lack of technology. And see, some of us dead lucky because it's hard to find a VCR in Nassau. So even if your exploits were caught on camera, it's unlikely that your children would be able to even operate the VHS to see what type of badness y'all was into. By y'all, I mean not me. See, I didn't have any children, so I could pretend.
Right.
Like I was always the best angelic child. So the numbers to call, 323-6232 or 316-325-4259, 242-300-5720. Call in and join the show. What's the worst thing, like what was your level of badness in your generation? What were the things that were just off the table? Things that your generation didn't even consider doing? And what are things that y'all did, but now we scorn young people for doing the same things?
Well, I know one of the first...
Oh, wait, hold on. Just before you go, I got a listener here that says, listen, give Bashara's contacts, please.
Okay.
Let's start off with that so people could begin connecting to resources if they hear kind of their issue popping up.
Let me make sure I give the right numbers. So our contact is 805-5043. And then to email, you can email bashraPres20@gmail.com. We still have the same location on 37 East Avenue. That's still our location. They are doing some renovations on the building at this current moment.
And that's between Erin and Madeira?
It's right by the...
By the court, right? There's a court on the
yeah,
park,
right by the park.
Yeah, that
It's right
in
next to the
between,
park.
right closer to the Collins Avenue side.
Yes.
Right, but it's in between Arundel, and that's where Battery.
Because firstly, I from Exuma, so you saying the Nassau street names, and I can't help you with
Man,
that.
look at how we no, but hold on, look at how we may have to add that to our list. We're going to learn more about the global health report. But young people transitioning through the archipelago.
Yes.
It's one of the issues. But let's go to the phone line. I think the callers are ready to join this conversation. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. Greene. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning. How you do?
I'm doing fine. You know, you read a report about the Ministry of Security, right?
Well, I read that article. Parents need to be more involved, Monroe says.
Yes. They say spending less time online.
Well, yeah, and I think, but let's nuance it a bit, right? Because we see fathers and children playing video games together, right? Like they online, but they in the same space. They're involved in the same activity, right? So it's not all just put the electronics down. It's more don't let the electronics be a barrier to presence. Like let it be a tool for engagement.
Right. Oh, okay, that's all much better because
I know that's what the minister meant. You don't mind?
when I fight, well, you need to be made it too clear. I listen to that. I listen to what he said because cyberspace, we call it cyberspace, could be educational, could be negative, it could be positive.
Okay.
You learn the educational part of it. You learn from each other. I had a lot of connection around the world globally, and you learn from each other. I learned the computer back then when I first started it when I was 36 from friends on the computer.
Yeah.
On cyberspace. So cyberspace could be a learning tool, and it could be a negative tool. You just parents gotta make sure find out the positive, find out how they could be learning as a positive tool.
And be present while they're on. Like I love cartoons. They're really adult cartoons, but we just leave our kids to watch them by themselves. But these things kids could watch, but the parents have to watch it with them.
Right. You got right, parents. It all boils down to adult parents.
Yeah.
Supervise. It all boils down back to them. How you want your child to utilize the computer. How you want your child, how positive or negative you want him to be.
But
So
don't let
all
it.
boils down. But it kind of downplay it like that. It's like all the negatives. Yeah, because people generating millions of dollars making money.
Yeah. So
You know, it's I hear people co-play it by negative, but not measure the negative and positive like electrical. It's all negative and positive.
right,
Have a good day.
and Pumpkin Eater, I think it's important to emphasize for people who may have been living with mobility restrictions, right?
Yes.
The computer becomes a tool to access the world,
Yes.
right? And so in some ways, it provides mobility and access. And that's what it does for young people too, right? But it has to be guided.
Everything I talk. I before with disability, I talk with my cell phone, do this, find out, search this out, search that out. I don't have to type it in my mouth anymore. I just talk to it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everything comes up. So you mentioned mobility is very important.
Absolutely, and I think the differently abled and disabled communities should
Yeah.
be a stakeholder in these conversations because your experience online in that digital space with these tools could help us to provide better resources for parents and adults helping young people navigate.
And don't forget, I learned the system or self-taught we call it. Like all.
Thank you so much.
Age 34, 36.
Thank you, Pumpkinita. I got another
good
caller
day.
on the line. All right, let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller. You still there?
Yes, Ms. Greene, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, one thing I want to do, I want to go a little off topic right now, right? Because, normally, complaining is basically our second language, right?
Yeah.
But I want to do a compliment right now. Man, Ms. Greene, our boys can fly. Man, I been away to Orlando the other day, right?
Yeah.
I come back. The weather was horrible. I told them deplorable. And man, our boys could fly. I ain't feel one cloud in the sky.
Let me tell you something.
Them boys can fly.
Bahamian pilots, we got some girls too, but the Bahamian pilots, the training is
Yes.
Man, I told
above
them,
standard.
It's superb.
But listen, you know what that means, right? That means that we need some pilots to partner with some philanthropists to not just open a flight school, but to create a training program, right? Regional, the Caribbean and the Americas, because people should be coming here to train how to fly. You fly in and it ain't no harder place to fly than here. Thank you very much.
Second thing I'll comment on the screen, right? How parents is nowadays is let their children call them by their first name. You can imagine you have a child, right? And they walk in the room, little man come in there, Erin, is the breakfast ready? Then you wondering why he ain't no one respecting no one. If you respect your parents, you call them by their first name, right? You think the children respect anyone else?
No, I mean, if you call me by, I expect tips. You better be tipping me because obviously I waiting for you now.
Back in the day, someone call you by your first, you call your parents by your first name, you better have a strong dental plan.
You know, I have a feeling like, because how you said that, it's something resonated with me. Is it, okay, you know, women now are expressing annoyance that they're being referred to as mom by young people. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
call
often
people mom. I just called someone mom yesterday.
I often remark that in this culture right now, you could, as a woman, you could only be one of two things. So you either a mom or you something that's yum yum.
Yes.
Right? That's it. Is either you a mom or you are available for my entreaty, for my engagement. And so I realized that some, like this mom, mother, mama, auntie, older woman, stateswoman, that these now are being perceived almost like slurs. Like, don't call me that. I don't want to be seen as that. And my whole life, listen, just in case you all didn't know, I waiting for somebody, a muumuu, a house coat, as a gift. I ready to enter my house coat era. I ready to enter my muumuu era. Like, and so I realized that I think that's a real thing that's happening. And we have younger and younger parents that see the designation as mother as something that they don't want. Because
that's why they won't be called by their first name?
Yeah.
But it's not also a sign of disrespect. I know growing up it was. But I think for the younger parents, they are trying a different approach of acknowledging is a little bit more than before. So before it was, you are a child, you don't talk much, you don't have no feelings, you don't have no opinions, you don't have no nothing. And that was the separation between parent and child. But now a lot of the younger parents are realizing that that didn't feel good, to not be respected as a person, even though you are a child. And so they are trying to be a little more personal with their children. And so, yes, you still need the boundaries of understanding that I am parent and you are child, and that is missing a little bit. But also, I want you to see me as someone closer to you. I want you to be able to talk to me, not necessarily a friend, but I want you to be able to talk to me and open up with me and share things with me. One, a lot of us are much younger. And so before you had your mommy home in the house being mommy, but now you have your mommy going to the same club as you, dressing and looking the same way as you, got the wig on the same way as you.
Caller, I find it listen, caller, I can be honest with you.
You find that a problem?
Yes, it's a problem.
Okay, that's the problem. See, now you wanted something. That's the problem right there. You only parent or friend. You can't be two.
But
you can't be parent and friend at the same time.
Okay, so no, hold on.
If someone sees you as a friend, they can disrespect you as a friend.
Here's the next thing. Okay, I can say this. I like to put my biases on the table, right? I ain't gonna be in the same club Lila Greene in. Now, I don't want y'all to be asking my mommy out on no date, talking about I hear yous go to club, right? But the point is, I don't want to be in the same club as my mother. I cannot imagine being younger and me and my mother in the same club looking for dates. I cannot imagine that, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
But put that aside. Here's I think the next problem with that. And I want to say thank you. I got another caller on the line. We can prep here's the next caller with that. What happens with the social structure? If parents rely on grandparents for reprieve, for a little relief, for hey, can you hold the kids on Saturday? We want to go out because the business having a party, and mom say, no, girl, because I going out, I have a date, right? There is that element or that caretaking, that support has not been replaced.
No, and that's exactly what's happening.
Right? And so what happens to the kids whose parents never get a break because there is no support system? Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Miss Greene. How are you this morning?
Hi, good, thank you.
Morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Three things.
Mm-hmm.
The word positive amongst nice. Put two positive posts on a car battery and try start a car.
Okay.
You have to have a negative somewhere in life. You have
Okay.
to have a negative.
All right.
Okay? Number one. Number two, this thing now about children calling their parents by their names that some of the parents want that.
Mm-hmm.
I see some of the children call their mummy, call their mother mummy, and the woman looking around like the child getting crazy.
Yeah, and what, like,
You know,
how do
they
children...
and they get this new cute thing now. You can't call them Grammy now. Them say I don't believe they still young and sexy. There's one of them call them Nana.
But hold on, here's the thing, what we have to show them, Uncle, is that you still young and sexy for people in your set.
Yes, but what I'm saying, they don't want them call them Grammy.
No, I know.
They like this new word now. They call Nana.
Yeah.
And then when you see a woman and this is no joke, this is no makeup. When you see a woman that at the age of 55 is a great grandmother, something wrong.
Okay, pause now. See, qualify that for me.
I say grandmother and I say great grandmother.
I know, but qualify
at
it for
the
me.
age of 55.
Qualify it for me, because I can tell you what, I was in Andros working at the Bahamas Environmental Research Center, just driving bus. I wasn't in charge of catching crab or nothing. And the drive,
and no chick Chinese.
yeah, but shh. One of our tour guides was telling us a story, and so we were talking about all of the families in the surrounding communities where the mothers had 13 children, 14, 22 children. The max was like 23 children, 24 children, right?
No twins.
Well, no, a couple of them was twins.
Okay.
Right, a couple of them was twins. So 50 years ago, well, that's only 1970. Let's go back 80 years ago. It was not unreasonable for a young man to become a man and marry at the age of 15, 16.
Yeah.
Right? So, but let's qualify it. In 2025, is society constructed? Are there policies in place that support families? Like you say, support a family where there's a great grandmother at the age of 55. Right? Let's qualify it, because
God's sake, Miss Greene, don't hang up on me. I got something I want to go with, but I can listen to you.
yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
I got you.
I'll leave you with something, but go ahead.
That in 2025, it's unthinkable, right? Like, no, 15-year-olds should not be having children. And so what we need to do, though, is, I think the problem is the missing conversation, right? Like, our great-grandmothers talking to their great-grandchildren, right, about how they got here, about historically, 100 years ago, this was the norm. But society has changed in such that we...
But Miss Greene,
Okay.
About 1970 something, you could have cooked. My mother could have cooked a tin of corn. The corn beef size ain't changed. The corn beef size still the same size can. My mother could have cooked a tin of corned beef and feed 7 children with herself. And we still eat corned beef with that in the morning with our grits. That corned beef and rice at night.
Because she know how to put...
same tin of corned beef.
She know how to put the stuffing in it, the
carrots
breadcrumbs.
and the potato and the carrots. But
Yes.
listen to this. I can let you go on this.
Uh-huh.
There is a watering hole that I go to on Soldier Road. On a Saturday, you will have the granddaughter, the mother, and the grandmother sitting down to the bar.
Yeah.
And all of them trying to pick up something. And this is a true story.
Yeah.
And whoever come, You want the bitty one, you get the bitty one. You want the middle-aged one, you want the old. And everybody get on this little thing, all they belly out. Some get them jelly belly and thing. But everybody get their belly out. They shut. And everybody drinking and cursing and getting on. I talk about the granddaughter, the mother, and the grandmother. And this ain't one Saturday thing. This is almost every Saturday.
Thank you.
This is a pickup sport.
Listen, thank you very much. Okay, so the messages that those ladies have tied themselves to are the messages that tell them that you have to be sexy, right? That your standard as a woman you have to be desirable, right? And to survive in this world, you have to be desirable to men, right? And a lot of people are getting these mixed messages, and then a lot of people are perpetuating bad situations, right? I want to thank the callers. We ain't going nowhere. I want to thank those callers for sharing, right? Different perspectives. Or not even perspectives, different experiences. There's real lived experiences for these people. We got to talk about it. But I want to say two things just as we go to the break. We got to teach people how to cook soup. We got to teach people how to cook soup again. And when we come back from the break, more wisdom from our great grandparents and ancestors, the things that they used to survive, and somehow we stop telling our children for their own benefit. Anyway, we're going to a break. Stay tuned. On the Clock with Erin Greene. When we come back, we're going to delve into focus areas of the report: sexual behaviors and chronic disease.
Never want to be in love with anyone.
Boy, you know what going down tomorrow?
No, babe, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Boy, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you want?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Boy, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, how many boys coming for me next?
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I work?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
At Cleveland Clinic, care is everything. So when your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your community until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else, all to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. And my co-host.
Hi, Rodrika Cawley.
Rodrika is a creative, a social commentator, but she is also a representative of BASHRA.
Yes, so BASHRA is Bahamas Sexual Health and Rights Association. Again, we are a nonprofit organization that promotes heavily the sexual and reproductive rights of people within the Bahamas.
So let's go through the text line, and then we're going to look at sexual behaviors, focus area 3 of the global school health report. Okay, first text, Erin, I do not think the point is what was off the table. If we are honest, everything was on the table, but there was a village. Grammy was involved. The neighbor was involved. Auntie was involved. And all would have talked to you when they saw you doing fool. I give you all a quick example. I had one mischievous neighbor, and he sick his dog to bite me, right? He sick his dog on me to bite me, right? And I sort of figured out what was happening. But his mother did the right thing, right? His mother made sure that I was tended to, made sure that she spoke to my mother and let him know, look here, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And so you're right, it takes a village because young people, their brains are still developing. It ain't formed, it ain't set yet like the Jell-O, right? And so we give them a break. Text Erin, did you hear that caller say if you ever call your parent by their first name, you better have a dental plan? This was an insinuation to violence upon children. I'm surprised you guys didn't admonish and correct that caller. Okay, I didn't admonish and correct that caller because the caller was reflecting something
Their
that was.
experience, yes.
Right? Like he's saying that's what would have happened back then. I don't think he made that wasn't the moral statement, right? He was just saying that's what would have happened. And
then I did allude to the fact that we have younger parents now that are trying to respect their kids more, that are trying to acknowledge that their kids have feelings, and so they are trying to be quote unquote better parents than the parents that they received. And so that's what it was. That's what happened when you disrespected your parents. Is it right? Some would say yes, they turned out fine, and some would say no because it is abuse. But the reality is that's what life was like.
yeah, if you didn't know what the right thing to do was, you could get licked in your mouth, in your head. And I'm 49. I know people my age who grew up with that, with things being thrown at them. Right? Let's go to this phone line. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning, Miss Greene. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Rita. Yeah, if that texter want to correct me on what I said about the dental plan thing, they can most definitely get upset at this one. You ready for this one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because if you ever go to someplace, right, and you see a grandparent, a parent, and a child in one club, and all of them are females, they selling something, and it ain't a story. That's all I got to say.
Well, listen, thank you.
All right.
See, this is a part of the problem. This is a part of what Mr. Monroe was getting to about being present, right? A part of being present is observing and having spatial awareness and understanding the environment that your child is moving through. Y'all, let's not forget the article 2 weeks ago. Minister LaRoda raised concerns about a rise in child prostitution by mothers, by parents, right? So yeah, we know that it's happening. Hold on, here's the most important thing. We know that it's been happening historically.
Yes.
Right? We know that it's been happening historically. Let me get to some more text, and then we're going to jump back to that point in the report. Hi, Erin. Calling your parents by their name is not really new. I'm over 50, and I grew up with children who call their parents by their first name. Oh, let me ask you a question. Did they live on the family island? You remember a Little House on the Prairie when it was like 85 of them? Every night they had to tell everybody good night.
Good night.
By that time, you forget. Here's another one. Good morning. Ideally, if a mother finds herself without a village, she takes steps to not add more children to the mix. Unfortunately, many women and men don't plan their families, and many women are in social and financial situations, which put them at higher risk for digging a deeper hole. Then, going to the same club as their teenage daughter to find dates to pay the rent. Grandmothers are much younger nowadays. This problem is complex and runs generations deep. Yeah, and I think that's why I wanted to highlight what Mr. Monroe said, because if we didn't process our trauma, because that's what it was, like some of us, we were having fun. You don't feel the licks, you don't feel the scars until the next morning, right? If we processed our trauma properly, then maybe our kids would not be having the same experiences. There's a text that says, tell that troll you can have a mother at 19, grandmother at 38, and great-grandmother at 57. So that is 4 generations. What's his point? Well, texter, we got to the point, right? As I asked for context, a little more context. But thank you for sharing that contribution. And the texts say, never. It was, yes, sir, madam, good morning, and please make sure they heard you speak. Never first name. Never. First name was Mr. and Mrs. Okay, so, listen, we got to go to this break. When we come back from the break, y'all saw the PSA. How to know it's a real Bahamian? If they don't say morning, 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 if they don't say morning at least two times, in a real Bahamian. We're going to a break. Stay tuned. On the clock, we'll be right back.
You never treat me like you should. So what's the good of loving as I do?
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Nassau Cruise Port, Kalik and Ricardo Rum presents the Made in the Bahamas Festival. Join us on Saturday, July the 19th from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m. for a cultural affair hosted by Kenny and the Mighty Pencil. Get ready for live performances by Avi, Fan Sean, Ancient Man, and more. Plus music by the best DJs. Enjoy entertainment by the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band, a Junkanoo Rush Out, giveaways, and tasty Bahamian food. Admission is only $10, so don't miss out. Drink responsibly and celebrate proudly.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Woke up this morning from my normal sleeping. Had my normal breakfast, normal juice, and normal cereal. Picked up my paper just to do my normal reading. Normal war and killing, all these normal people feeling like everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Normal, normal, normal. Normal, normal, normal. Everything normal, everything normal, everything normal. Make it feel like
Good morning. Welcome back to On the Clock. Everything ain't normal. I mean, everything normal, you know. But that don't mean everything is all right. Again, I think what Mr. Monroe, what the Minister of National Security said was so important for us, right? That our generations battled similar challenges when we were young, but we had more support from parents, from other relatives, and the wider community, right? Because those people remembered. I say, but for the grace of God go I. The badness they used to get into, but for some reason they were saved, they were redeemed in the eyes of the community. They saw that they had value, right? And we created spaces where people could evolve, they could become better, they could become different. Oh boy, that's another topic. That's another topic. We may touch on that at the beginning of the next hour. There is an interesting, I want to say, exchange in the media. Pastor Lyle Bethel wrote a letter to the editor, I think yesterday, addressing Sebastian's indications that he's considering a run in frontline politics. And today, Mr. Sebastian responds in a letter to the editor, which has also become an article. And we may talk about that a little later in the day. Maybe talk about some more data in the report. Here's a text just to get us going. Good morning, Erin. When are you going to have the conversation about the dementia pandemic our elderly are experiencing? Their text, I'm talking more and more about it. I have featured the Bahamas Dementia Alzheimer's Association for 2 years in a row. I talk about it, but when I talk about it, I get a lot of pushback from elderly people who feel slighted, or they feel like somehow this is a horrible conversation. But I tell you what, the 3 score and 10 gang, Y'all think y'all in the movies? Hey, y'all can't be around here talking about the tree and score 10 gang rides again? Some of y'all out of control. But then we realized that some of you all are out of control because you're experiencing something far bigger than yourself, right? You're experiencing dementia. We got to talk about it. So we can talk about it. But right now, we can talk about it in the context of the global school health report, the Global School Health Report, because grandparents and great-grandparents, because as we see, the great-grandparents are getting younger, they are no longer available in the support system in the way they used to be because they're going through their own mental health crises, which exacerbates an economic health crises because they're retired now and they have less resources to take care of them. Oh, we got all kinds of things. But these people are now missing from the support system for young people. So let's go to the phone line, and then we're going to get into the report. Good morning, caller. Good morning. Sorry I missed you, caller. The numbers to call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 242-300-5720. We're going to see that line is flashing red. The GSHS is a school-based self-administered survey conducted primarily among young people aged 13 to 17 years to measure behavioral risk factors and protective factors related to the leading causes of morbidity and mortality among teens in 10 or more key areas, right? The 10 core questionnaire modules address the leading causes of morbidity and mortality, and they include alcohol abuse, dietary behaviors, drug abuse, hygiene, mental health status, and physical activity, as well as protective factors, sexual behaviors, tobacco usage, violence, and unintentional injury. So I want to ask you guys, because each country has the opportunity to add country-specific modules, are there any modules that we should be adding for the Bahamas, like gambling, or because of the archipelago, right? Like family, island, youth, and transition. But let's go to the phone line, Rodrigo. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Greene.
Good morning, Papa. How you doing?
Great here, and good morning to your guest, Miss Greene.
Yeah.
Would you say, Sabah, say something about the Pastor Lyles?
Yeah, it's I haven't gotten into it, but it's in today's Tribune.
So in a nutshell, what happened? Lyles say something to Sabah, and Sabah's answering him back now?
Yeah. Lyle Bethel shared personal experience, and it's in today. So Lyle's
in agreements with him getting into the number man going into the cabinet, or he don't see no reasons for it. What he's questioning it?
I think he's opposed to it, but more importantly, he sees a redemptive arc, and he's saying that if you're going to do this, then, and he quoted some scripture. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, maybe when you get a chance, you can let us know what's about Sabah. Maybe he's quoting some scriptures too. Miss Greene, you have what, two of the papers them there? You see anything, a story where they say a man was charged before the court for allowing his children to be hungry, was found eating out the garbage bin. I was wondering what become of that case. That sound like they say Miss Bo Evans is the judge and that magistrate, and that I know
Caroline Voigt Evans.
And I didn't catch it if they say he was sentenced or what did they do with that.
Man,
because
look here.
It's an indictment on not just him as a parent, but us as a community and a country, man. I feel like maybe I just don't have enough understanding about it. But see if you see anything in the paper talking about that where someone was brought before the courts for their children, allowing their children to starve, 3 children found eating out the garbage bin.
So I looked through the main sections of both papers and I don't see it yet, but I tell you what happened.
That must be yesterday news.
I lost my 2 papers yesterday. They get steal from me.
That's yesterday.
But when I go home, I'm going to look at that.
I want to hear what Sabas had to say, but what Salal say, if he had any scriptures to read back or what.
All right, I can.
Then you get a chance.
I can try do that at the top. I can try do that in the next hour. Okay. Thanking you. Okay, so the Global School Health Report, right, or survey, allows country-specific questions, and I'm asking the audience and my guest co-host, are there any questions that you think should be added that are country specific to, right, for the Bahamas? I gonna raise my hand and start off by saying gambling, the effects of gambling.
Mm-hmm.
I put that on the list.
As a source of income.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I think it's required to talk about.
Well, I am a proponent of the Family Island experiences. And so there's a lot of disconnect between what happens in New Providence and what life is like on the different family islands, especially as you make your way further down south. And so just the level of exposure that you have, for example, when I'm outside, a lot of folks on the family island still spend quite a bit of time outside, whether that's the boys still on the boat who don't even on their phones. Some of them don't even prefer to use phones because they want to be on the boat. They want to be fishing, like the guy said with the pilots and how good they are at being pilots. Sometimes it's because they was flying planes from they was very young teenagers, just being on a plane with their dad and stuff like that, with their dad and their uncles. And so we do spend quite a bit of time outside, especially the males on the family island. So the dynamic of how being raised in the city can affect what you are exposed to as far as the negative things that come from.
Absolutely. Well, that's a spotlight on focus area 2, chronic disease, right? And one of the stats I got from that, teen rise in drug use, obesity, and drinking. This story is Nassau Tribune, 4th of July. Chronic disease risk factors also worsened. Overweight rates climbed from 17% in 1998 to 40% in 2023. Although food insecurity improved slightly from 44% in 98 to 31% in 2023, only 6% of, only 6% of teens meet the recommended fruit intake, and 10% met the recommended vegetable intake. Soda consumption skyrocketed from 28% to 81%. So from 21% in 1998 to 81% in 2023. And other sugary drinks rose from 44% to 83%. Physical activity plummeted, with only 17% of teens achieving recommended exercise levels, while sedentary behavior increased from 55% in 2013 to 72% in 2023. Right? Wow.
We need more folks to climb some trees. Climb some trees, feel some sun, eat some soup. Because the vegetables in the soup, if they learn how to start cooking good soup,
but look
like
here,
you said.
that's a whole campaign. That's a whole movement. Teach young people how to make soup.
I can't.
I practicing. That's why I ain't got no husband now. You better work on it, ma'am. You better work on it. All right, we come to the end of On the Clock with Erin Greene. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next. And we're going to continue this conversation. I've got more texts on the phone. We got more stats to delve into. I'd love to hear y'all's stories. Don't make me tell you all another story. But I was born in 1976. I graduated high school in 1992. Plenty of y'all out there have adventures. Adventures, right? That your children, they don't need to know the details, but they need to know that life is chaotic and exciting and that you could navigate it safely like your parents. You guys stay tuned to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk all day.